Yeah, that year was kind of an exciting year for upgrades. We had the trick conditions.
Yeah.
There were the LFO FM tracking. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you would have the LFO being tracked by the keys. And there was some new engines. I think Ride engine for the rhythm.
I think there was quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the ride. Actually, let's do a fact check on that. Yeah, we had this new basic hi-hat engine, the metallic hi-hat, closed and open, and the ride, like you mentioned, which is quite nice. I personally like that. Metallic cymbal, a metallic cowbell, sharp bass drum, silky bass drum, plastic bass drum, snare drum, the natural one, and the noise generator and the impulse generator. Nice tools also for like the modular. Probably developed half of those myself. I remember in particular the silky bass drum, which is a favorite of mine. I had an idea of using. To begin with, some kind of background static noise, the dust parameter, I think it's called.
Yeah, yes.
Bringing in some kind of tape-like noise. I think that's nice behind the kick drums. And then we have in these first three voices two VCOs. So I used one for the body and one sawtooth VCO, very, very short duration for generating a true analog transient click on that, and it works really well, I think, on that model.
Analog transient sounds very correct.
Yeah. It does.
So that each time
It's
you
more
have a little,
808 style.
yes, little nuances each time it plays.
Exactly.
Yes, very
Yes,
cool.
I mean we brought a whole new palette of sonic capabilities to the Rytm in that year.
Yeah, it's about 12 engines. And I think the one of the most interesting was that you were able to send a gate signal out. That I really enjoyed. Before that, you would use maybe a sample or a kick track or something. But with this one, I managed to use external modular gear much easier like that, I thought. And it was actually very good to ping the filter with that engine, and that was a new thing that I remember. S is very fan of that stuff. He uses that a lot. And then combine that with the LFO FM tracking.
Yeah.
You assign it to the filter, the LFO, and then you ping it. They're really cool stuff like that. Yeah, and I think the trick conditions were like a really big part of this update. It really pushed the sequencer ahead of what it was already doing. I mean, it was already very capable, but my limitation was that in my use cases that 64 steps length wasn't always enough. But with the trick conditions, you can add a percentage of a probability of triggering. That's one thing. But then there was the other settings where you could trigger every 2 out of 5, or 5 out of 8. And once you put multiple tricks like that, they kind of blend into a very nice evolving sequence. You can be very intelligent sequence just using 16 steps.
Yeah, definitely. It can get really intricate, I think. I mean, the thing with that, from the technical perspective, is that we knew for a long time that users wanted some kind of probability setting, and we also knew that users wanted a way of having, fill modes, having some performance aspect to it. So we actually invested a lot of thinking in how we can solve both, and I think it was Anders, who is a genius, figured out this trig condition concept where you can actually use it both for random probability, also for chaining different trigs. So if one gets to trig, there is a group of other trigs that also can trig, or you can also like invert that Boolean logic, so you can make really cool stuff with that. It's a really interesting and quite unique, I think, concept.
Yeah, the probability is kind of like seen a lot, I think, in the sequences, but the other concept of like having a token for a trig, a condition for a trig that it triggers over time or depending on before or after, is I think it's unique.